This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're talking about the title, Sex Has Become Cheap and Easy. Now what? Let's look at society for a second. What is it built up of? It is built up of families. Families where mother and father come together and they have babies. Hopefully the parents love each other and they love their child, and then this child feels that love, grows up to become a healthy human being, and both mentally and physically, and then contributes to society in many ways, shape, or forms. Hopefully that child also attracts a mate, and then they create a child and they become a family, and then it goes on like this for many, many generations. However, that's when families work. Most of the time, families don't work. Half of the time, families separate and divorce. And half of the time, for those people who remain married, they have a lot of strains, a lot of difficulties, and very often it's a real drag to be in that marriage. There's a reason why men are beginning en masse to leave marriage and to not look at it as an option. They want to. I know you want to. Everyone desires to have a long-term relationship with a woman and then to have children and basically leaving their footprint on the earth and leaving a legacy. Basically, I have been here because my generation will continue. There's also many guys who don't want kids, and that's completely fine, and we're happy about that, because if they don't want kids, we don't really want them to reproduce. We want the people who do want kids to reproduce, and then they can move on and reproduce again. It just makes sense. But why are men leaving marriage? Why don't they want it? It's not that men don't want kids. They want kids. They want family. However, they feel that the risk of taking on a woman is very, very high. The government is in the favor of the woman. So if something goes wrong in the marriage, no matter what, and it's the women that divorce or initiate divorce 80 to 90% of the time, causing men to be put in a very vulnerable situation. They basically lose half of their money or quarter of their money in Jeff Bezos' case, where he lost billions of dollars to his now ex-wife. It is also the emotional and mental aspects of it, of being drained of one's cash, drained of one's confidence, and not being able to see your kids or be with your kids as much as you would like. The risk of losing that family, the risk of losing all of your money to divorce courts and to the woman that is now your ex, and you not being able to be with your kids, it's a huge risk. Why not simply build up your life on your own and be happy with what you've got and sleep around? I understand men. I understand why they're leaving marriage, and me personally, I've been married for 10 years. And it's been a hard, difficult ride. So it's not that men don't desire to provide and protect for women. They do want to, however, they don't want to do it if they're going to have it all be stripped away in a matter of a few months, simply because the woman doesn't really feel it for him anymore. They don't feel that the woman has any form of loyalty or commitment to the marriage, and they're right. And the reason why, very often, is because women have a lot of sexual partners before they end up settling down in today's society. However, not having a double standard, it is true. Men also have a lot of sexual partners before they get married in this day and age. When two virgins marry each other, they end up having the happiest marriages of all marriages. And then it linearly goes down in terms of marital satisfaction, the higher sexual numbers both of them have. More so the woman. Is very often the woman that is not satisfied with the marriage. The woman's mental stability is the one that is most affected when she has had a lot of past sexual partners. And men simply don't want to take that on themselves to provide and to protect when she has basically been partying in her teenage years and in her 20s and now wants to settle down. Men are saying, no thank you. So this is what's happening. Women having a lot of sexual partners increases the likelihood of divorce, And it massively now has come to the point of increasing the likelihood of men simply staying out of it and becoming MGTOWs and not wanting to have anything to do with marriage or family. This has huge ramifications for society at large. If men don't have responsibilities, they'll basically only work to provide for themselves, and that's pretty much it. And they'll basically sleep around, and since it's easy and cheap to get any girl to sleep with you, what's the point of even succeeding in the workplace or succeeding with your finances? When you can go out on the weekends and get pretty cute girls out on the town for nothing. We've taken away men's purpose. Who has taken it away? Well, you might say, well, it's the women that massively sleep around. But you forget the double standard of men massively sleeping around. Let's investigate whose fault this truly is. Because it's not women's. Think about it for a second. Who is it that initiates 95% of all sexual relationships? It's the man, right? Because the women basically go out on town and hope for guys to approach them. 19 out of 20 times, someone, a guy, is going to approach this woman if she's average or better looking. Which means that just as much as it is women that initiate divorce, men are the ones initiating casual sexual relationships. Who is it who is increasing women's partner counts? Yes, it's women. They're an active part of this equation. However, it is men that initiate this act. But if men didn't approach them, most of the time they simply wouldn't have sex. And if they didn't have sex, they're not increasing their partner count. And if they're not increasing their sexual partner count, they're remaining viable options as future wives of these men. Simply put, it is men that has caused the decline of society. Just as men have built up society by establishing families, they are the ones who are destroying society by sleeping around. So you've got to make a decision which one you're going to be. Are you going to be a family man that builds up society, or are you going to be a man who destroys it? Now you might say that it's way too late, society is already going down the drains, and if I continuously sleep around, it's going to happen faster, which means that we can now begin building up society again from scratch. You're forgetting all of the women that you are heedlessly leaving in the ditch by sleeping around. Men who sleep around and increase women's partner count are the real homewreckers in society. Men's bodies don't need sex, especially if they're practicing seed retention. So men are the ones that are responsible for making sure that society is the way we want it to be. You have to make a personal decision of your own to increase the value of sex. When sex becomes easy and cheap, society and family declines. When sex is expensive, men build themselves up, they improve continuously, and then they seek out partners that they want to keep for the long term because sex is expensive. The reason why society is the way it is today is because of one-on-one monogamy. Monogamy is the issue. Because if you haven't noticed, who is it that controls the home? Who is it that has the power in the relationship in the home? The more a man commits to a woman, the higher expectations he's going to have, meaning she will expect you to do certain things in order for you to have sex. Sex is easy and cheap outside of marriage, but then you get in marriage and it's expensive. That doesn't make any sense, but that is how it works. This is also one of the reasons that men are staying away from marriage, because it's difficult to be in a relationship with a woman continuously full time and making it work. This is why men and women and kids are not emotionally fulfilled. We have to find a solution where every single individual in the family, in the home, becomes emotionally fulfilled. Unless we make family emotionally fulfilling, no one's going to return to the family. They're just going to keep doing what they're doing today, make matters worse, and then society is going to collapse again, and then we're going to build it up again by establishing families because there's no government now, so men have to be there and provide and protect for their women again, and then we're building up massively society again, and then guess what? There's going to be another decline. And history repeats itself because history is filled with one-on-one monogamy. The reason why things are the way they are is because the woman has the power in the relationship in the home. One-on-one monogamy does not work. And the reason why it doesn't work is because of attraction and lack of sexual desire from the woman towards the man. If she was massively emotionally and sexually fulfilled, she would not ever depart from the man. But the reason why she's not massively sexually fulfilled is because she needs other women.